Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back again with me with my last work in this semester. I got that from my teacher is doing a 1 hour English presentation. This presentation it will take a long time and just sit down and watch it and enjoy it. And before we got it to my presentation, my last work, uh, uh, I'm let introduce myself. My name is Farah Fidandri. I'm in class RPLA. I school in SMKIDN, and my vocation is uh, software engineering, and I live in South Jakarta, exactly in Jagakarsa. My dream I become to be useful person. My motivate, there's no greater harm than that of time wasted. My hobbies is play basketball, playing game, and coding. And I ask you, did you know how many things did you know about the world? Do you know about the large of this world? Do you know how many countries in this world? What do you know about the continent in this world? How do you know about the Asia? What do you know about Europe? And what do you know about Africa? What do you know about the kinds of the continent in this world? Did you know about Indonesia? And I will present all of this about the world that you know yet. There is 195 countries in this world, and many things and many flags in this world, many kind, many shape, many color in one country's flag. And this large of this world is 510 million kilometer, and that was big. The human can make another Earth again. This is my word. This is human word. This this large is very large, and I very fun live in Earth. And there's seven kind continent in the world, like Asia continent, Antarctic continent, Africa continent, Asia continent, Australia continent, America continent, and that's it. And this is the Asia continent. There's this this map is and this flag. There's map. There's flag that who signed the territorial countries, like Japan in here, and India in here, Sri Lanka, and others like Indonesia in here, Timor Leste, and Singapore, like that. And I will explain 50 fun fact about the Asia continent. The word is Asia is used name it mean sunrise. After all, the sun rises in the east. And the second, it is the birthplace of some of the oldest civilization of the world. It has both the highest Mr. Everest, Mountain Everest, and the lowest deep sea points on the earth. Now the widely varied landscape. And the fourth, the 14th tallest mountain on the earth, known collectively as the Eight Thousanders, are all located in Asia. Each one is over 8,000 meter, or like 2,000 to 20, 26 and 24, 24 245 feet tall. Most of the highest Himalayan peaks are in Nepal. And the five, the interestingly, according to a law in Japan, people above 40 years age have to get their waist checked mandatorily, and if found above the threshold defined for both gender, they will have to follow a strict diet plan to reduce their weight. Conclusively, it is illegal to be fat in Japan. The world and the sixth, the world's largest shopping malls in China, and is referred to as a ghost town due to a lack of occupancy. And seven is in fact, out of the 10 largest malls in the world, all are located in Asia. Seven of the 10 largest cities by population in the world are located in Asia. And the nine of the world top 10 tall buildings are located in Asia. And the 10th, China is the third largest country in the world by area and yet has only time zone. And 11 is India is known to be highest producer mangoes in the world with close to 12 million tons each year. And 12 is with a median age of 44.6, the Japanese are the second oldest people in the world after the people of Monaco. Around 50,000 people above 100 years of age are Japanese. In fact, the average lifespan in Japan is 80.9 years for men and 86.6 for years for women. And the 13th is China and India collectively makes a third the world total population. And the fourth is in Vietnam people measure their age according to the number of Vietnamese New Year's arcades they have lived. This brings it to the fact that all Vietnamese share the same birthday. Due to high level or air population, China has come up with the canned fresh air that is sold for a price. And the 16th is in a small town in India called Solapur, newborn children are thrown from the top of a 50 feet tower to bring them good luck and wealth. And 17 is the first ever farmer and merchant were Asian. And you thought that the European excelled in trading. And 18, the top 6 most population cities by metropolitan area in the world are located in Asia. Many people haven't even heard of the current most populated city in the world, Chongqing, and the industrial town in China, having a population of over 30 million people. Shanghai comes next with over 24 million people. And 19 is the concept of Asian is originally European. People from different countries in Asia never considered themselves to be a people together. 20. China is surpassed the United States for the number of billionaires in 2006 per 2018 data. There were 234 more billionaires in China than in the USA. 21. Bangkok, the capital of Thailand, is the most visited city in the world, and it can easily beat London, New York City, and Paris by the number of international arrivals. And 22 is Tenzin Gyatso, the fourth Dalai Lama. It's the longest living one, being born in 1935 and the most socially as well. You'll find him on Twitter and Facebook. And 23 is Asia is most rapidly deforested place in the world, even worse than the Amazon. And 24 is orangutan. Did you know orangutan? Yes, this very popular in Indonesia, and the habitat orangutan in Kalimantan, in Sumatra, in Sulawesi. There's many kind orangutan in Asia. and the the mostly the mostly many orangutan in Indonesia. Orangutan is also known as the man of the forest, are one of the biggest victims of habitat loss due to deforestation and can only be found in two places on the earth: Sumatra in Indonesia and what I said before, and the island of Borneo, split between Malaysia and Indonesia. Just in orangutan just habitat in Sumatra and Borneo. And 25 is Bhutan. Bhutan is only country in the world to officially measure national happiness. The index is known as GNH, gross national happiness. And 26 is Asia is the home to some of the most amazing unique wildlife, including animals such as pandas, pygmy elephant, tigers, king cobra, yak, Indian rhinos, and the others. And 27 is the Arabian Desert, found in Saudi Arabia, is the world's largest continuous sandy desert. And 28, Indonesia is made up of over 7,000 islands, efficiently making the world's largest archipelago. And in Indonesia, there's many islands, like Java Island, Sunda Island, Sumatra Island, Bali Island, and Bangka Belitung Island, Papua Island, and Nusa Tenggara Timur Island, and many island in Indonesia that like this data is 7,000 islands, and I don't know the 7,000 is. And 29 is eating a frilled embryo egg of hen or duck is delicious in Cambodia. You actually see the unborn fetus inside of it, and curse, you have to eat that too. Oh my god, that's very disgusting. And 30 is 90% of the rice grown on the earth is consumed in Asia's country. And 31 is contrary to common belief, most the tigers live in Asia, not in Africa. Just tiger is live just in Asia, like Sumatra tigers, like Kalimantan tigers. Java tigers is already gone because the human is not good to keep the habitat, and I feel so sad because the tiger Java is not already live again because I already don't see it anymore. Just the bone and the fossil of the Java tiger. And 32 is Hong Kong has over 8,000 skyscrapers. This is twice as much as in New York. 33 is with an average if only 2,000.2 mobile phone per 100 citizens. North Korea has the second lowest mobile phone density, only after Cuba in the world. 34 is the Trans-Siberian Railway, covering a length of 90,285 kilometers, in the longest railway line in the world. It connects Moscow with the Far East city of Russia, Vladivostok. And 35 is the Sundarbans Delta formed by the Ganga, the Brahmaputra River is the largest river delta in the world, covering that an area is 75,000 kilometer. 36 is Lake Baikal, surrounded by the mountain Russia region of Siberia, and located in the north of the Mongolian border, is considered to be the deepest lake in the world. Not just that, but it's also largest freshwater lake in the world. And 37 is Beijing Station, has the largest railway waiting room in the world, having a seating capacity is 40, 14,000 people. And 38 is the Great Wall of China, marked as UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's the only human-built structure that can be seen from the space. The story, like if China in uh, in 19, 1819, the Mongolian or the Chinese people, citizens China, is building a wall of China, Great Wall of China. It's like very long, and I don't know the exactly. And 39 is Asia shared two countries with Europe, Turkey and Russia. And 40, the Burj Khalifa with the roof height of the 828 meter or 2,717 feet is the currently the world's tallest building. And the 41, Mandarin Chinese is the world's most spoken language with over a billion native speakers. And 42, Indonesia comes under the Pacific Ring of Fire, having more than 130 active volcanoes, Kelut and Mount Merapi on the island of Java are considered to be the most active volcano in the world. And the 43 is The Tale of Genji, written by a Japanese noblewoman Murasaki Shikibu in the early 11th century. Is considered as the world's first full-length novel. And 44 is the smallest mammal in the world, the bumblebee bat, can be found in Thailand. And 45 is the Rafflesia arnoldi is the largest single flower in the world. It's grown in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. It can grow to almost 1 meter in diameter and can weigh up to 11 kilograms. And 46 fact, Thailand is the top orchid exporter in the world. The kingdom has more than 1,500 species of orchid. And 47, Sri Lanka is the world's largest cinnamon producer and account for about 70% of the global production. And 48 is the flag Sri Lanka, also known as lion flag. It's considered one of the world's oldest, dating back to the 162 BC. It is also thought to be the only flag in the world to recognize the religious beliefs. And 49 is Angkor Temple complex in Cambodia, that considered to be one of the wonders of the world as well as UNESCO World Heritage Site is the temple complex in the world. Vietnam. And 50. Vietnam is also home to the world's largest cave in Sun Dong. 51. World's first and oldest university has established in India named Taskalisa. And explain about the country in Asia continent. There is 59 countries in the Asia continent, and many things like Afghanistan. First, I will explain about Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the country in the Asia continent, like East Asia. Geography: Afghanistan, approximately the size of Texas, is bordered on the north by Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, on the extreme northeast by China, on the east and south by Pakistan, and by Iran, on the west The country is split east to west by the Hindu Kush mountain range, rising in the east to height of 24,000 feet, or like 7,030 meters. With the exception of the southwest, most of the country is covered by high snow-capped mountains and traversed by deep valleys. And the government is. In June 2002, a multi-party republic replaced an interim government that had been established in December 2001, following the fall of Islamic Taliban government. And I will tell you about the history about Afghanistan. Darius I and Alexander the Great were the first to use Afghanistan as the gateway to India. Islamic conquerors arrived in 7th century, and Genghis Khan and Tamerlane followed in the 13th and 14th century. In the 19th century, Afghanistan became a battleground in the rivalry between Imperial Britain and Czarist Russia for control of Central Asia. Three Anglo-Afghan wars, 80, 1839 until 1842 and 1878 until 1880 and 100 1990 ended inconclusively in the 1893. Britain established an unofficial border, the Durrand Line, separating Afghanistan from British India in the London Grateful Independence. And 1019, Emir Amanullah founded an Afghan monarchy in 1026. And the next, I will explain about the Soviet invasion or Russia that in that prime. During the Cold War, King Muhammad Zahir Shah developed close ties with the Soviet Union, accepting extensive economic assistance from Moscow. He was deposed in 1973 by his cousin Muhammad Daud, who proclaimed a republic. Daud was killed in 1978 coup, and Nur Taraki took the power, setting up the Marxist regime. He in turn was executed in September 1979, and Hafizullah Amin became a president. Amin was killed in December 1979 as the Soviets launched a full-scale invasion of Afghanistan and installed the Babrak Karmal as president. The Soviet and the Soviet-backed Afghan government were met with fierce popular resistance, guerrilla force, calling themselves Mujahideen, plagued a jihad or holy war. They expelled the invaded entirely armed with outdated weapons. The Mujahideen became a focus of U.S. Cold War strategy against the Soviet and Pakistan help. Washington began funneling the sophisticated arms to resistant Moscow's troops were soon bogged down in no-win conflict with determined Afghan fighters. In 1986, Karman resigned and was replaced by Muhammad Najibullah. In April 1988, the USSR, US, Afghanistan, and Pakistan signed a accord calling for an end to outside aid to the warring faction. In the return, a Soviet withdrawal took place in February 1989, but the pro-Soviet government of President Najibullah was left the capital Kabul. And the next country is Armenia. Armenia geography. Armenia is located in southern Caucasus and is the smallest of the former Soviet Republic. It is bounded by Georgia on the north, Azerbaijan on the east, Iran on the south, and Turkey on the west. Contemporary Armenia is a fraction of the size of ancient Armenia, a land of rugged mountains and extinct volcanoes. Its highest point in Mount Aragon. The feet is 30,435 feet, or in meter is 4,095 meters. And the government in Armenia is Republic. I will tell about the history of Armenia. History: one of the world's oldest civilizations. Armenia once included modern Ararat, which biblical tradition identifies as the mountain that Noah's Ark rested on after the flood. It was the first country in the world to officially embrace Christianity as its religion. In the 6th century, Armenians settled in the kingdom of Urartu, the Assyrian name of Ararat, which was in decline under Tigran the Great (FL. 55 until 55 BC). The Armenian Empire reached its height and became one of the most powerful in Asia, stretching from the Caspian to the Mediterranean seas, and become the most powerful in Asia, stretching the Caspian and Mediterranean seas through most of long history. However, Armenia has been invaded by succession of empires under constant threat of domination by foreign forces. Armenia became both cosmopolitan as well as fierce protector of their cultures and tradition. Over the centuries, Armenia was conquered by Greeks, Romans, Persians, Byzantines, Mongols, Arabs, Ottoman Turks, and Russians. From the 16th century through World War I, major portions of Armenia were controlled by their most brutal invader, the Ottoman Turks, under whom the Armenians experienced discrimination, religious persecution, heavy taxation, and armed attacks. In response to the most horrific message took place in April 1915 during World War I, when the Turks ordered the deportation in the Armenian population in desert of Syria and the Mesopotamia. According to the majority of historians, between 800, 1600, and 1.5 million Armenians were murdered or died of the starvation. The Armenian massacre is considered the first genocide of the 20th century. Turkey denies that genocide took place and claimed that much smaller number died in a civil war and starving for independence. After Turkey's defeat in World War I, the Independent Republic of Armenia was established on May 28, 1918, but survived only until November 29, 1920, when it was annexed by the Soviet Army. On March 12, 1922, the Soviet joined Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan to form the Transcaucasian Soviet Socialist Republic, which became part of the USSR. In 1936, after reorganization, Armenia became a spared constituent republic of the USSR. Armenia declares its independence from the collapsing Soviet Union on September 23, 1991. In 1988, Armenia became involved in the territorial dispute with Azerbaijan over the enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh. The majority of the enclave considered the Armenian Christians who wanted to secede from the Azerbaijan and either become part of Armenia or gain full independence. War ensued between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the region from 1992 until 1994, resulting in 30,000 casualties. Armenia effectively controls the region today, although no formal resolution exists. In Armenia, diaspora has existed throughout the nation's history. In Armenia, immigration has been particularly heavy since independence from the Soviet Union. An estimated 60% of the total 88 million Armenians worldwide live outside the country, with 1 million each in the United States and Russia. Other significant Armenian communities are located in Georgia, France, Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Argentina, and Canada. And the next country is Azerbaijan, who invaded the Armenia. This flag Azerbaijan, there's a blue color, red color, and moon and star with the white color, and the bottom of is a green color. Azerbaijan geography. Azerbaijan is located on the western shore of the Caspian Sea at the southeast extremity of the Caucasus. The region is a mountainous country, and only about 7% of it arable island. The Kura River Valley is the area major agricultural zone, and the type of government is constitutional republic. And the history is northern Azerbaijan was known as the Caucasian Albania in the ancient time. The war was the site of many conflicts involving Arabs, Khazars, and Turks. After the 11th century, the territory became dominated by Turks and eventually was a stronghold of the Shiite Muslim religion and Islamic culture. The territory of Soviet Azerbaijan was acquired by Russia from the Persia through the Treaty of Gulistan in 1818 and 13, and the Treaty of Turkmenistan in 1828. After the Bolshevik Revolution, Azerbaijan declared its independence from Russia in May 1918. The republic was reconquered by the Red Army in 1920 and was annexed into the Transcaucasian Soviet Socialist Republic in 1922. It was later re-established as a separate Soviet republic on December 5, 1936. Azerbaijan declared independence from the collapsing Soviet Union on August 30, 1991. Since the 1988, Azerbaijan and Armenia have been feuding over the enclave the Nagorno-Karabakh. The majority of the enclave inhabitants are Armenian Christians against to the Sikh from the predominantly Muslim Azerbaijan and joined with Armenia. War broke out in 1988 when Nagorno-Karabakh tried to break away annex itself to Armenia, and 30,000 died before ceasefire agreement was reached in 1994, with Armenia regaining its hold over the disputed enclave. Final plans on the status Nagorno-Karabakh have yet to be determined. And the next is Bahrain. Bahrain geography is Bahrain, which means two seas. In archipelago in the Persian Gulf, the coast of Saudi Arabia, the islandmost part are level expanse, sand, and rock. A causeway connects Bahrain to Saudi Arabia, and the government type is constitutional monarchy. The history of Bahrain is known in ancient times as Delmon. Bahrain was an important center of trade by 3rd millennium BC. The islands were ruled by the Persians in the 4th century AD, and then by Arabs until 1541 when the Portuguese invaded them. Persia again claimed Bahrain in 1602. In 1783, Ahmad ibn al-Kafilah took over, and the al-Kafilans remain the ruling family today. Bahrain became a British protectorate in 1820. It did not gain full independence until August 14, 1971. Although oil was discovered in Bahrain in the 1930s, it was relatively little compared to other Gulf states, and the wells are expected to be the first in the region to dry up. Sheikh Isa ibn Sulaiman al-Kafilah, who became emir in 1961, was determined to diversify his country's economy, and he set about the establishing Bahrain as a major financial center. The country provided its people with free medical care, education, and old age pensions. And conflict between the Shia and Sunni Muslims are a recurring problem in Bahrain. The Sunni minority, to which the ruling Al-Kafilah family belongs, controls nearly all the power and wealth in the country. The Shiites continue to agitate for more reception in government, and mirror violent clashes have led to about 2,000 deaths since 1994. And internal reform increased Bahrain attractive as an ally to the West. Bahrain has been important Western ally, serving as Western air base during the Persian Gulf War in 1991 and the Iraq War in 2003. It continues to serve as the base of the United States Fifth Fleet, which patrols the Gulf. The Emir Sheikh Isa ibn Sulaiman al-Kafilah died in 1999 after 4 decades of rule. He was succeeded by his son, Sheikh Hamad ibn Isa al-Kafilah, who gave himself the title king but also began a sweeping democratization of country. Censorship has been relaxed and draconian laws repealed. Exiles have been repatriated, and the stateless Bedouins have been granted citizenship. In a February 2001 referendum, which permitted women to vote for the first time. Bahrain overwhelmingly support the transformation of the traditional monarchy into constitutional one in October 2002. Bahrain had the first parliamentary election since 1973. In 2006, the US and Bahrain signed a free trade agreement. And the next country is Bangladesh. And the flag of Bangladesh is green and the circle in the center side is red. Bangladesh's geography on the northern coast of the Bay of Bengal is surrounded by India, with a small common border with Myanmar in the southeast. The country is low-lying riverine land transferred by the many branches and tributaries of the Ganges and Brahmaputra River. Tropical monsoons and the frequent floods and cyclones inflict heavy damage in the Delta region. Government. The tip of government Bangladesh is parliamentary democracy. And I will tell you a little story about the Bangladesh history. What is now called Bangladesh is part of the historic region of Bengal, the northeast portion of the Indian subcontinent. Bangladesh consists primarily of East Bengal. West Bengal is part of India, and its people are primarily Hindu, plus the Sylhet district of the Indian state of Assam. The earliest reference to the region was the kingdom called Fanga or Banga, c. 1000 B.C. Buddhist ruled for the centuries, but the 10th century Bengal was primarily Hindu. In 1576, Bengal became a part of the Mughal Empire, and the majority East Bengals converted to Islam. Bengal was ruled by British India from 1757 until Britain withdrew in 1947, and Pakistan was founded out the two predominantly Muslim regions of the India subcontinent for almost 25 years after independence from Britain. Its history was part of Pakistan. West Pakistan and East Pakistan were united by religion Islam, but their people were spirited culture, physical features, and 1,000 miles of Indian territory. And the next country is Bhutan. Bhutan geography is mountainous Bhutan. Half the size of India, it's situated on the southeast slope of the Himalayas, bordered on the north and the east by Tibet and the south and west and east by India. The landscape consists of the section of the lofty and rugged mountains and deep valleys. In the north, towering peaks reach a height of 24,000 feet. Oh my god. And in the middle is 7,315 meters. And the type government Bhutan first national election in March 2008 marked the country's shift from absolute monarchy to the constitutional monarchy. And the history of Bhutan is although archaeology exploration of Bhutan has been limited. Evidence of civilization in the region dates back to at least 2000 BC. Aboriginal Bhutanese, known as the Monpa, are believed to have migrated from Tibet. The traditional name of the country since 17th century has been Ryukyu, land of the Drukpa, dragon people, a reference to the dominant branch of Tibetan Buddhism that is still practiced in the Himalayan kingdom. For centuries, Bhutan was made up of feuding region until it was unfeuded under King Ujung Wangchuck in 1907. The British exerted some control over Bhutan affairs, but never colonized it. Until the 1060s, Bhutan, Bhutan has largely isolated from the rest of the world, and its people carried on tranquil, traditional way of life, farming and trading, which had remained intact for centuries after China invaded Tibet. However, Bhutan is strengthened its ties and contact with India in effort to avoid Tibet fate. New roads and other connections to India began to end its isolation. In the 1906, Bhutan also undertook social modernization, abolishing slavery and the caste system, and placing women. Also undertook social modernization, abolishing slavery and the caste system, emancipating women, and enacting land reform. In 1985, Bhutan made its first diplomatic link with non-Asian countries. A pro-democracy champion emerged in 1991, which the government claimed was composed largely of Nepali immigrants. As a result, some 100,000 Nepali civil servants were either efficient on the anchorage to immigrate. Most of them crossed the border back into Nepal, where they were housed in UN administrated refugee camps. They continued to languish to their decade later. In 1998, King Jigme Singye Wanchuk, who is Bhutan's 40th hereditary ruler, voluntarily curtailed his absolute monarchy and in March 2005 released a draft constitution, not yet to a referendum, that outlined plans for the country to shift to a two-party democracy in December 2006. He indicated favor of his son. And Crown Prince Jigme Khesar Namigal Wanchukin become a king. Prime Minister Leonpo Khandu Wanchuk resigned in July 2007. So he could join a political party in anticipation of the country's first election scheduled to be held in early 2008. Leonpo Kinzak Dorji took over as the interim prime minister. And the next story is shift to a constitutional monarchy. Parliamentary election Bhutan's first national election were held in March 2008 with turnout at about 80%. The pro-monarchy Druk Knesem Tsokpa, translated as the Bhutan Peace and the Prosperity Party, won 44 out of 47 seats in parliament, thwarting the People's Democratic Party. The election marked Bhutan's transition from the absolute monarchy to democracy in April. Leonpo Jigme Tnili of the Peace and Prosperity Party became a prime minister. A new constitution went into effect in July. Universal suffrage was implemented under the new constitution Jigme Khaisar. And Namgyel Wanchuk was crowned king in November at age 28. He is world's youngest monarch. Jigme studied in India and the US and received a master's degree and international relations from Oxford. And the next country is Brunei. Geography Brunei, about the size of Delaware, Brunei is an independent sultanate on the northwest coast of the island of Borneo, South China Sea, wedged between the Malaysia states of Sabah and Sarawak. Government is constitutional sultanate. History: Brunei was trading with China during the 6th century and the South allegiance to the Japanese Majapahit Kingdom, 30th to 50th century. It became under Hindu influence in early 15th century with this decline of the Majapahit kingdom and widespread conversion to Islam. Brunei became an independent sultanate. It was powerful state from the 16th to 19th century, ruling over the northern part of Borneo and adjacent island chains. But Brunei fell into decay and lost in Sarawak at, in 1841, becoming British protector in 1888 and British dependency in 1905. Japan occupied Brunei during World War II. It was liberated by Australia in 100 1945. And that's it about the Brunei. And next we go to the Cambodia. Cambodia geography is situated on the Indochina Peninsula. Cambodia is bordered by Thailand and Laos on the north and Vietnam on the east and south. The Gulf of Thailand is off the western coast. The size of Missouri, the country consists chiefly of the large alluvial plain ringed by mountains and with the Mekong River. To the east, the plain is centered around the Lake Tonle Sap, which is the natural storage basin of the Mekong. The government type in the Cambodia is multi-party liberal democracy under a constitutional monarchy. The history of Cambodia, the area that's present day Cambodia come under Khmer rule about 600 when the region was at the center at the first empire that spread over most of Southeast Asia. Under the Khmers, who were Hindus, a magnificent temple complex has constructed at Angkor. Buddhism was introduced in the 12th century during the rule of Jayarayam VIII. However, the kingdom known as Cambodia fell into the decline after Jayavarman's reign and was nearly annihilated by Thai and Vietnamese invaders. Cambodia power steadily diminished until 1863 when France colonized the region, joining Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam into a single protectorate known as French Indochina. The French quickly usurped all but ceremonial powers from the monarch Norodom. When he died in 1904, the French passed over his sons and handed the throne to his brother Sisawat. Sisawat and his son ruled until 1941, when the Norodom Sihanouk was elected to power. Sihanouk's coronation, along with the Japanese occupation during the war, worked to reinforce a sentiment among Cambodians that the region should be free from outside control. After World War II, Cambodia sought independence, but France was reluctant to part with the colony. Cambodia was granted independence within the French Union in 1949, but the French Indochina War provided an opportunity for Sihanouk to gain full military control of the country. He abdicated in 1955 in favor of his parents, remaining head of the government, and when his father died in 1960, Sihanouk became chief of state without returning to the throne. In 1963, he sought to guarantee Cambodia neutrality from the all-parties Vietnam War. However, the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong troops had begun using eastern Cambodia as a safe haven from which to launch attacks into South Vietnam, making it increasingly difficult to stay out of the war and Indonesian communist guerrilla movement known as the Khmer Rouge also began to put pressure on the government in Phnom Penh. On the March 18, 1970, while Sihanouk was abroad, anti-Vietnamese riots broke out and Sihanouk was overthrown by Gan Lon No. The Vietnamese Peace Agreement of 1973 stipulated withdrawal of foreign force from Cambodia, but fighting continued between Hanoi, backed in Strugan, and U.S. supplied government troops. And the next country is China. China geography is the greater part of country in mountainous. Its principal range are the Tian Shan, the Kunlun chain, and the Trans-Himalaya. In the southwest is Tibet, which China annexed in 1950. The Gobi Desert lies to the north. China proper consists of the three greatest river systems: the Yellow River, or maybe can say Huanghe. His length is 2,109 millimeter, and in kilometer is 5,464 kilometers long. The Yangtze River, or we can say Changjiang, the third longest river in the world at 2,432 mi. In the kilometer is 630,000 kilometers. And the Pearl River, and you can say Zhejiang, is 848 mi, and in kilometer is 2,197 kilometers long. And the government type in China is communist state. History: the earliest recorded human settlements in what is today called China were discovered in Huanghe Basin and date from about 5000 BC during the Shang Dynasty, from 1500 until 1000 BC. The processor of modern China ideographic writing system developed, allowing the emerging feudal states of the era to archive an advanced stage of civilization, revealing in sophistication any society found at the time in Europe, the Middle East, or the Americas. It was following the initial flourishing of civilization in the period known as the Zhou Dynasty, from 1122 until 249 BC, that Lao Tse, Confucius, Mozi, and Mencius laid the foundation of Chinese philosophy. Thought the feudal states, often at the war with one another, were first united under Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi during his reign from 246 until 210. Work was begun on the Great Wall of China, a monumental bulwark against invasion from the west. Although the Great Wall symbolizes China's desire to protect itself from the outside world, under the Han Dynasty from 206 until 220, the civilization conducted extensive commercial trading in the west. And the next country is Indonesia. Indonesia is archipelago in Southeast Asia, consisting of 1,700 islands or 600 inhabited, and standing the equator. The largest islands are Sumatra, Java, the most populous, Bali, Kalimantan, Indonesia, part of Borneo, Sulawesi or Celebes, the Nusa Tenggara Island, the Moluccas Island, and Irian Jaya, also called West Papua, the western part of New Guinea. Its neighbor to the north is Malaysia and the east Papua New Guinea. Indonesia, part of the Ring of Fire, has the largest number of active volcanoes in the world. Earthquakes are frequent valleys line a zoological demarcation between Asia and Australian flora and fauna. The government Indonesia is republic. The next country is Japan. Japan geography and apparently in Pacific. Japan is spread from the east coast of Asia by the Sea of Japan. It's approximately the size of Montana. Japan's four main islands are Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku. The Ryukyu chain to the southwest was U.S. occupied from 1945 to 1972 when it's reverted to Japanese control, and the Kurils to the northeast are Russian occupied. The government type in the Japanese is constitutional monarchy with parliamentary government. And the next is I will explain about Europe continent. Europe continent. That's three biggest country in the World War II in the Europe, but we will explain just three because that was very first strong or big act in World War II. And first is Germany. Germany, located in Central Europe. Germany is made up of the North German Plain, the Central German upland, Mittelgebirge, and the Southern German highland, the Bavarian Plateau. In the southwest, average 1,600 feet, or we can say in the meter is 488 above sea level, but it reached 9,721 feet, or we can say in meter is 2,962 meters. In the Zugspitze mountain, the highest point in the country. Germany's major rivers are Danube, the Elbe, the Oder, the Weser, and the Rhine. Germany is about the size of Montana. The government type in Germany is Federal Republic. And the second is England. England, the largest, most populous portion of the United Kingdom of Great Britain or Northern Ireland. 2011 pop and degrees in it is bounded by Wales and the Irish Sea on the west and Scotland on the north. The English Channel, the Strait of Dover, and the North Sea separate it from the continent of Europe. The Isle of Wight of the southern mainland in the English Channel, and the Sicily Island in the Atlantic Ocean of the southwestern tip of the mainland are considered part of England. London, the capital of the Great Britain, is located in southeastern portion of England. The Thames and the Severn are longest rivers. And the next country is Russia. Russia geography is the Russian Federation is the largest of the 29 republics that make up the Commonwealth of the independent states. It occupies most of Eastern Europe and the North Asia, stretching from the Baltic Sea in the west, the Pacific Ocean in the east, and from the Arctic Ocean in the north to Black Sea and Caucasus in the south. Russia, the largest country in the world in terms of area, but is favorability located in relation to major sea lanes of the world. Much of the country lacks proper soils and climate, either too cold or too dry. For the agriculture, Russia contains Mount Elbrus, Europe Tall's Peak, and Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the world. Lake Baikal is estimated to hold 1/5 of the world fresh water. And the type government in Russia is the Russia Federation is federal semi-presidential republic. And that's all from me. Thanks for watching and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.